Welcome back to Girl, I Got You. Okay, ladies. So we've been having a conversation about that season of separation. That's the season to where if you find yourself, you don't know if you're getting divorced, you don't know if you're staying together. What are we doing? You've heard that question before. What are we doing? And so during this season, it's so important to understand that it is just a season. And I know for myself, during that season of uncertainty, of asking myself what is going on, I'm trying to be strong, I'm trying to have hope. I had no clue really what I was doing. And yes, I was going to God. Yes, I had my squad, I had my people, but still the feelings of uncertainty. You didn't know which direction you were going in. And I'm telling you, I had a friend, I had that sister friend who saw me. She saw it, she just saw it on me, and she gave me permission. She gave me permission to break. She gave me permission to feel my feelings, like we talked about before, right? She gave me that permission. And sometimes that's all you need. You need someone that is going to give you permission to break. They're going to give you permission to just be, to cry, to be sad, to just sit. Sometimes they're just silent and just listen to you cry. They listen to you talk. And that's a tip for someone. Sometimes they don't need you to fix it. They don't need you to say anything. They just need you to sit and just be. So I hope you got that person that can just sit and let you be, right? So we talked about giving yourself permission, right? I told you to get in the comments and let me know, what are you giving yourself permission to do? Because it's one thing for our friends or those close to us to give us permission to break. However, it's another thing to give yourself permission. So I told you we were going to get into something that's a little, it's a little touchy. It might be a little uncomfortable. It's a little sensitive, but we going there. Okay. We going there, and we going right now. We talking about vulnerability. Don't nobody like vulnerability. That's almost worse than the D word, discipline. But today we want to talk about vulnerability. Who likes vulnerability? I think sometimes when I hear vulnerability, I'm like, oof, like, okay, I don't want to go there. Because vulnerability means being in a space where you are open, you are exposed, your feelings are exposed, you are exposed. And how many know we don't always want to be exposed? We not ready. We don't want it. We don't always want anybody else to see us. So let me tell you, with vulnerability, giving yourself vulnerability and giving yourself the permission to be vulnerable allows you to go into that space that I've talked about before with God and to be vulnerable with Him. When you can be vulnerable with yourself about how you feel, remember, we're not gaslighting ourselves. We're being vulnerable with ourselves, how we feel. Our experience matters. So again, if you don't like it, you don't like it. If it sucks, it sucks. If it ain't right, it ain't right. And it's okay to be that way with yourself, because when we can be vulnerable with ourselves, again, we can go to God and we can be vulnerable with Him. And I'm telling you, that is the best space to be. When we are open with ourselves, when we are real and we are honest with ourselves, if you feel the tears coming, don't try to hold them back. Cry, let it out, get yourself free from being held in bondage by your emotions. Because here's the thing on the other side of that vulnerability is strength. There's strength in vulnerability. I like to say that they're synonymous, quite honestly, because I really do feel like to be vulnerable takes a level of strength. It takes a level of boldness to be vulnerable. So I don't want you to think that being vulnerable is weak. I know some people would think that because you're exposing yourself, you're opening yourself up, but I'm telling you, in this space of healing, in this space of growing, in this space of evolving and on this journey, vulnerability is key. I like to sometimes think about Jesus when He was in the Garden of Gethsemane, one of my favorite stories, because that is a space where I'm telling you, you want to talk about vulnerable, you want to talk about emotions. Oh man, he despair. He cried out. He asked God, like, yo, take this away from me. If there's any other way, how vulnerable can you get? Like, if there's any other way, let me know. I'm not trying to do it. But then he said, not my will, but thy will be done. And so we know the story. He died on the cross for us. He was resurrected on the cross for us. That's power. That is strength that came on the other side of him being vulnerable, of him exposing his emotions, real emotions that he tapped into. So listen, ladies, I'm telling you, vulnerable with yourself allows you to be vulnerable with God. And on the other side of that, there is a strength and a power that you tap into. And I'm telling you, during this season of separation, and if you move on and you find yourself having to go through divorce, that's a strength that you are going to need. So I don't want you to downplay it. I want you to give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to break. Give yourself permission to be. Give yourself permission to experience all that you are experiencing. So, listen, let's take this to the comments. What I want you to do in the comments, I want you to put permission granted. We are here for each other. If there's anything that where you find yourself being vulnerable, again, where you need to give yourself permission, in the comments, tell another lady, I give you permission to break, sis. Sis, I give you permission to be. Because how many of us know we all need someone? We are on this journey together. So listen, I told you, girl, I got you. I'm so glad you guys joined me on this week's episode. I want you to continue to stay tuned. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to B3 Media TV, where we are bringing you open, honest, real, relatable content. We want you to see yourselves in what we're doing because we are here for you. We want you to be bold. We want you to be brilliant. We want you to be bodacious because, sis, that is who you are. You're not defined by what you're going through. You're not defined by who decided to leave you. You are defined by the Creator, who He says you are, not your past, not what you're going through. And listen, I'm telling you, as you stay locked in with me, okay, we are going to be just that, who God has created us to be, unapologetically and without exception. Listen, thank you guys for hanging out with me once again. I'm going to see you guys next time. And remember, girl, I got you.
Don't miss out on the opportunity to be inspired, informed, and empowered. We are B3 Media TV.